G'day folks and welcome to the Encounters Down Under podcast. I'm your host Anthony Goodall and I invite guests to the show to share their amazing encounters with aliens and UFOs. If you or someone you know has had an encounter down under or anywhere in the world for our new segment Encounters Unbound, please get in touch with me via the Encounters Down Under Facebook page or email at australianUFOsightings@outlook.com.au. Be sure to join the Encounters Down Under Facebook page and YouTube channel where you can also get involved during the live stream interviews, sharing your thoughts and opinions during the live show. Also, if you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to give us a rating and review on your favourite listening platform. But anyway, that's enough from me. Let's get into what you've been waiting for. Kick back and relax with your favourite beverage and enjoy the show. This episode is available to view on our YouTube channel, so be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your thoughts on the episode. G'day folks and welcome to another episode of Encounters Down Under. Moriah joins me on the podcast to talk about an encounter she experienced with her family, and during the conversation she unexpectedly mentions a possible experience while she's asleep. So please welcome to the show, Moriah.
Moriah, welcome.
Hello, how you going?
Going good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to share my experiences and my family's experiences.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. The pleasure's all mine. I'm sure everyone else is all happy to see you on here. So look, you had some family encounters there, and they're quite some interesting ones. Nothing like over the top, but they're still intriguing nonetheless, because obviously your family and that are going, what the hell is going on here? And look, I'll let you go and tell a story for me telling it.
Yeah, so the first encounter was actually with my older brother and my father. And this was back in the early 2000s. My brother, I believe, was about 7 at the time. And pretty much ever since then, there's just been kind of a couple of other things that have happened. So I'll get into the first encounter. So my brother was about 7 years of age, and this was back in the wheat belt. My friend has a farm out there, and sometimes we just go out there to visit and that sort of thing and hang out. But they were driving back to our old house, and they were on a dirt country road. It was, I believe, 11:30 at night sort of thing. And then suddenly my dad and my brother saw a huge beam of light just come down from the sky at kind of like an angle. So it was kind of like this on an angle a little bit. My dad initially thought that it could have been like a helicopter or something. Maybe they were looking for a missing person. But then they got closer and closer to that light and they couldn't hear any noise. There was no noise associated with this light. And mind you, it was on a country road, so there was no other street lights or anything like that. And this was before drones and everything. So, and another thing that had happened was my brother was looking at the time. It was 11:30. And then once they had driven through the light, they had lost about 5 minutes of time. So my brother remembered it was 11:30, and then suddenly they drove through the light, and then it was 11:35. So it definitely didn't take 5 minutes to go through that beam of light. But then when they had to pull over, pretty much, they were too stunned to speak, pretty much, and they just had a look, and without a trace, the light was gone. Have no idea, even to this day, what that could have been. Maybe some governmental thing, I don't know. But and again, my other experience, my second encounter that I had was also back in the wheat belt. This is when me and my family had just moved back from New Zealand, and we were at our friend's farm. We had this old fire pit, and we were kind of sitting around where the old fire pit was. There was about 6 or 7 of us. And we ended up looking out towards the horizon. The sun had just gone down, and we saw this yellow light, and we were thinking, oh, could be a distant helicopter, maybe the sun reflecting off of an aeroplane or something like that. And as soon as we all said that, oh yes, just a helicopter, it started doing figure eights in the sky. And all of us were just sitting there looking at each other, just like, what is it doing? What is happening? And then it started doing this zigzag pattern upwards, and then it would come back down and then go back up. And then at that point, all of us were like, we got to film this because this is crazy. And we all grabbed out our phones to film it. and we all zoomed in on the object. And as soon as we hit record, like how in Star Trek when they phase out sort of thing, that's kind of what had happened. It phased out of existence and then reappeared probably about 5 kilometers across the horizon within a second. And, we couldn't figure out what it was. We did think maybe it could have been a drone, but the way that it was moving and how quickly it was moving and the maneuvers that it was doing, there's no way it was a drone. And then when it appeared across the horizon, within a second, it started doing the same sort of pattern. So figure eights in the sky and then going up like this, going down, and just zipping in, moving in a weird way. And then again, we tried to record it and then it phased out and then we didn't see it again. So it's, I don't know, very, very strange. And I believe, so it was my brother, my dad's best friend, and a couple of our friends as well that were there. So there were multiple people to see it. It wasn't just like we were on our own sort of thing. There were multiple people to see it and witness that event. And majority of these events that me and my family have had, it's been all of us kind of together. Usually with my dad there, which is strange. So I'm not sure about that. It's quite strange and very, very weird. But the third encounter I actually recently had, and my third encounter was on the 13th of January of this year. And it was at 7:05 p.m. In South Perth, where my parents and I live. And we were just sitting around having a conversation, sitting out by the table. And then suddenly we just see the silver orb in the distance. And I was the first one to notice it. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And then we just slowly started watching it come closer and closer. And it was this silver ball-looking thing. It was a silver sphere. And it just suddenly went over our house. And then I ended up grabbing out my phone to film it. And I did manage to capture it on camera. If you would like the video, I will send it across to you. But yeah, it was quite strange. And the way that it was traveling, it was relatively fast. It wasn't hyper speed or anything like that, but it was relatively quick. And I don't know, the only thing I could really put it down to that makes a logical explanation is it was a silver spherical balloon and it got caught in wind shear, in relative wind shear. But even just that, it wasn't bobbing up and down like a balloon would, excuse me, or anything like that. It was moving in a consistent straight line and it was going in a northerly direction. And that was at 7:05 p.m. Yeah, so my family also witnessed that event and they also said it was quite strange. But again, they also agree that the only logical explanation would have been a spherical balloon of sorts getting trapped in wind shear or relative wind shear. But again, the way you just had to be there, the way that it was moving was just, it was consistent. It wasn't bobbing up and down or moving side to side, anything like that. It was going in a straight line in the northerly direction. And again, my family was there, witnessed the event. They can't explain it. It's a UAP, so can't be really explained. But yes, so those are pretty much my experiences in a nutshell.
No, look, that's fine. Like we spoke about that your last one, there was the spherical sort of object there, and I was able to pull out there was this, it wasn't the space station going across, which is like one of the first things. Like, well, it could be mistaken as a like obviously you're familiar with how satellites look when they're in the atmosphere. Right? Was this sort of like close to the ground, or was this like something that's up in the atmosphere sort of thing?
It was kind of in between. So it was definitely in the atmosphere, but it wasn't too close to the ground either. It was, I don't know, it wasn't too high up to the point where I was like, oh, that could be a satellite. And plus the time of day as well, it can't really see satellites, especially if, I don't think it could have been a satellite, just because of how low it actually was, but it also wasn't too close to the ground where it was like, that's something else. But I'm not 100% sure. But I know that with satellites, they tend to look quite distant, but they almost look like a star, kind of moving like this across and in a relative direction. So I don't, and plus the time of day that it was as well. The sun had just been setting pretty much. So I don't think it could have been a satellite. It would have been very interesting if it was, though.
Well, around dusk is usually pretty much the prime time to be seeing satellites. Usually got about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours leeway, but after dusk, you might see distant lights, or even dawn. Same sort of concept, like before dawn, a couple of hours before dawn, you'll start seeing satellites come through. So it is about that prime time.
Right.
That's why I sort of questioned like that time. I don't know if it's different over in WA with the daylight times. I'm pretty sure it's the same everywhere else, but
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, like the ISS comes across. It's really good prime time to go and see it. So that's why I had to go and rule.
Yeah, right. 100%.
So I'll probably go to like same height as what maybe a commercial plane maybe going that sort of height wise.
Yeah. It was probably around about the same distance as what a commercial plane would be. Yeah.
Yep. I didn't double check that one, but I'm not trying to like rule out. I'm just trying to come up with an idea of possibilities here.
No, I do the exact same thing, so feel free to.
Yeah, so I'm maybe thinking like if I can probably track it down, I get the right times and do a bit of Google calculations and whatnot. But it could have been like maybe a plane that's reflecting on the setting sun, just setting off like a lot of people have mistaken it. They usually see like the you can't see the plane because it's reflecting the sun's light on the plane, obviously. Then there's sometimes
right
behind that which reflects, and everyone thinks it's a bloody meteor coming through the atmosphere or something. But just the contrast, the sun, the setting sun or rising sun.
Yeah,
but yeah. So look, I'll get back
exactly.
People are asking for the footage. If it's not too hard for you, send the footage through now. If it's not too hard for you,
of course I can do that right now.
Yep, I was meant to actually.
Awesome. So I just
start up. I forgot about it. You're right. Go for it. Here we go. Do.
No, that's all good. All right. So did you just want me to send it in the chat?
Yep. Yeah, it sounds
cool. I wonder if I can do that.
I should hopefully have that. No, I don't
see.
Okay.
I might need to send it to you on.
Oh no, lost it. She gone. Oh, look, guys, I hope everyone's going well. We'll get it back on in a second. Then just give me a minute. We'll go and sort some stuff out and get it back on. I hope everyone's doing well anyway. Let me know in the chat there, guys. Where are you listening from? What's been going on in your weekend? I hope everyone had a great Australia Day there. I know I did. It was quite messy, actually. It's a lot of fun. But I hope you all had a great Aussie day. And where she go? See, try and get it back. And so what are you guys' thoughts on, if you were tuned in last time there when I was with Grant Levac there, and I was going to do the, I mentioned that I was going to do a Viva la Revolution, a peaceful protest basically to all of our states' parliaments and trying to get a organisation there for, public peaceful protest and, protest basically that we're wanting some sort of organisation interaction from the government, Australian government, that we want something interaction. So anyway, she's back now. Okay, welcome back.
I'm back. Sorry. I'm having a bit of technical difficulty. I've never used this sort of app before, so I'm quite...
No, that's all right. That's all right.
All right, so I might... Oh, let's see if I can... Because I do have a video on...
Yes, I'm going to have a bit of a delay going on. Oh, look at that looking...
Oh, no.
We've got a massive delay.
It might be the government.
Yeah, so always the government.
It's always the government, isn't it? But yeah, I can actually send you the video through Messenger if that's
perfectly
good with you.
Do that.
I'm kind of struggling at the moment. So every time I try and send it to you, it's like, no, you're about to log off to the streaming service. I'm like, no.
They go
right.
Yes, she's gone.
Yeah, it's like sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
All right. So yes, I can.
But yeah, you're right.
Cool. But yeah, I can always send the video through to you as well, just so you can show your viewers later at a later date. I'm having a bit of issues.
That's it. All right, we'll have to do that. Yep, that's fine. Oh, I can. No, I won't be able to add that to the YouTube channel later, unfortunately. But I might be able to go and do a bit of a reel or something like with it. So anyway,
Cool. No worries.
That's all right. But yeah, look, I want to go back to your father and was it your brother's encounter there when he was 7 years old? Now,
yes.
Is there actually, like, do you know if there's any family history at all with your family bloodlines or your grandparents, such uncles, aunties, any mentions of something that might have had some sort of experiences, encounters at least?
Well, on my dad's side, I know that he's had a couple of experiences that he likes to call his sixth sense. And he believes it came about because he had a near-death experience when he was quite young. So I'm not sure if it has something to do with that, or maybe it has something to do with genetics. I'm not sure, but my mum, on the other hand, has actually never been there for that sort of experience. So it's definitely more surrounded towards my dad and my brother. So I'm not 100% sure. And I don't believe my aunties have had a extraterrestrial experience like that. I'm not sure. If they have, they would have. I would think they would have said something about it already. But maybe they just don't want to because they don't want to think that we think that they're crazy, even though we've had our plenty of experiences. But it could definitely be something to do with genetics because I have heard that before through my own research. But I can't be too sure about that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, look, that's fine. That's what I was sort of trying to go for. If there is something to do with genetics here, if there's some sort of interest. But it's the first time I've heard that, whereas a missing time is about 5 minutes. Usually when someone's had it's gone for about half an hour to an hour, a couple of hours, and, in such a fair distance as well to try and, as if they're like trying to go, oh, hang on, this time we're taking him to get here, but we're going to put him back here, but he's like not the right spot. Like,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Completely agree. And because I've done quite a bit of research myself on this, and you're right, it is a very short amount of time. So maybe it was like just a little check-in or something like, oh, we're just going to beam you up, check you out. Okay, you guys are fine. I have no idea. But I do agree with that 100% because, yeah, even when my brother and my dad came home, they were wide as a ghost. Their eyes were like deers in headlights sort of thing. And they're like, you're not going to believe what just happened sort of thing. And I think I was probably my brother was 7, so I would have been about maybe 5. So it would have been 2004 when this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a very short amount of time that had happened. So I'm not sure whether maybe they did get abducted and then they were just like, oh, these are not the right people we're looking for, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure, but the fact, yeah, exactly. But it was very strange, the fact that it was only 5 minutes, and I completely agree because most experiences that people talk about, they have had like sometimes even 3 days where they just don't know where they are, and but most of the time, as you said, it is about like 30 minutes, sometimes to like 5 hours, usually around about that time, and then they get dropped off at a spot where they're not sure where they are because they previously weren't in that spot beforehand. So, not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, no, look, it's raised a lot of questions there, and a lot of obviously, especially for your brother, your old man. It's like, well, why, what happened? Like, it's just one of those moments. We've got Jane in the comments is saying
exactly,
you open a window in your mind and you get to experience psychic activity. Not sure if it would go with a near-death experience with that sort of reaction. I don't know. I'm not really sure on that one. I'm
not 100% sure myself, but I have heard that. So thank you for your comment. That is true. I have heard that. My partner has also had quite a few near-death experiences, and there's something it does open your mind to the point where you're more accessible to psychic experiences, or maybe even paranormal experiences.
Yeah. I was definitely.
But I'm not sure about extraterrestrial. Yeah,
I'm not sure.
not sure about. Yeah.
Like, there's obviously a lot of stories there where people are saying, like, you know, there's some sort of spiritual connection between ETs and such like that. And, like, obviously when we come to a near death or going to death, we're getting some sort of spiritual reaction to where it's, so, like, it could come across into that. Like, obviously everything's still speculation and guessing because no one's really died properly and come back and gone, hey, look, this is what's on the other side, you know, but they've always come and so had some sort of, like, close experience there and gone, well, I had this kind of experience there, and, like, there was something a bit weird going on, but I didn't get to go and get the whole experience because I came back. But
yeah,
we'll
that's very true. Well, yeah, who knows? It could be something to do with dimensions, maybe. Like, maybe when we die or have a near-death experience, our soul somehow gets transported into a different dimension. And maybe these extraterrestrials could be from these different dimensions. Maybe. We don't know.
Well, yeah, look, I certainly feel like there's some sort of connection there between paranormal and ETs. There's a whole different world that we just seem to be blindfolded from, you know, for some unknown reasons. But, you know,
100%.
You know, that we're just the vehicles, the vessels for our spirits, and we basically just keep recycling until we, I don't know, become wise and whatever or something. I don't know, until we get to a certain point in our spirituality where we're going back to where dimensions they're in.
Exactly. And maybe that could be the case. Have no idea. They wiped our memory before we got here.
Yeah, so that's the worst thing too. Like, you know, people have these encounters, they're having like abductions and stuff. Like your man and your brother's got some missing time there, but everything's been wiped from their memory. Like, mentioned like they might have had like vivid dreams or something like that afterwards, where they might say like, look, I might be something.
Well, funny that you say that, because they personally haven't mentioned any weird dreams or anything like that, but I have, weirdly enough. And I'm not sure if it was from their experience maybe, or if I was reliving something that happened when I was a child, but I believe it could have been an abduction. And it was very strange. If you want me to get into it, I can.
Yeah, by all means. I think if you're comfortable.
All right. I'm comfortable sharing it. I've shared it quite a bit with friends and family, and it's quite interesting. So, back when I was with my ex-partner, it was about 6 years ago, sort of thing. So a while ago, I was in his bedroom, and I had gone to sleep and that sort of thing, and then I ended up having a very, very vivid dream. Everything felt so real, and I remember in the dream that I was in my old childhood bedroom, and this was back in York, in the wheat belt. And I was laying there, and then there was like this triangle, almost arrowhead-looking craft that, you know, landed at the front of my window. And then suddenly everything went white, and everything was just completely white. And then all of a sudden I felt something really cold and hard on my back, and it felt a bit uncomfortable. But then suddenly the white light kind of dissipated a bit, and there was three beings on each side of me, and they were all very, very tall, probably about like 6 to 7 foot tall. They all kind of varied in heights. I just knew that they were very tall, and they were all kind of looming over me, sort of thing. And there was one on my right-hand side, and they all looked pretty androgynous as well. You could kind of tell which facial features were a bit more masculine or feminine and that sort of thing. But there was one of these beings on my right-hand side, and I believe it was a she. She had laid down towards me, so we were like eye level. And she said to me, everything's going to be fine, you're going to be okay. And she had a very soothing, feminine voice. And they also had, all of them were wearing like these high collars, and they were all wearing, it was almost like a pearlescent, holographic sort of colouring, and they were like cloaks, but they all had high necks. And all of their skin was so pale that it almost had like a grey hue to it. And the eyes were also a little bit bigger than humans' eyes. They looked pretty human, but something was off. It was almost like the uncanny valley effect. And they had almost like what looked like these contacts over their eyes. And they were black contacts, but when this being leant down towards me, I could kind of see like behind the contacts, and I could tell that they had like normal kind of looking eyes, but they were white or really, really pale blue. And they all had really extremely long blonde hair or like a creamy kind of colored hair. And yeah, so anyway, this feminine being or Nordic alien, I don't know, had laid down towards me, and she told me everything was going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. And then when that happened, I was just surrounded by that same white light again. And then I woke up, and I fully woke up. I bolted upright out of bed, and I started looking around, and I was shaking. I was sweating. Something just didn't feel right. And then when I looked around my ex-partner's room, it was my old bedroom in York, my childhood bedroom. And I started freaking out. I was like, how the hell did I get here? This is not where I'm meant to be. And it wasn't until I looked at my ex-partner sleeping next to me, then looked back up, the whole bedroom rearranged itself back into his bedroom. So I don't know what that was. Maybe I was reliving something that I had experienced when I was a kid, but I still can't explain it. It was either a very surreal dream or it actually happened. I'm not sure.
That's incredible. I don't really want to think of that, because like if that was a dream, that's a very detailed dream. Like someone said, Joe said in the comments there, like if this is a dream, it's a very detailed, amazing dream. So that makes like really go like this. The way you're sort of describing them before you started going, I was going to mention if was there any hair. Then when there's like long blonde hair,
yes,
like Palladians maybe, or Nordic, like you said, like because they're the what I think of when it comes to like long blonde sort of hair. You also mentioned like their faces are very how do you describe their faces? Like very tight or something, like because I think
androgynous. So like they all look pretty much the same, but they were slightly different. Like you could kind of tell which facial features were a bit more masculine and which were a bit more feminine, but they all look pretty much almost identical. Like same sort of skin, same eyes, same contacts, like same hair. Like maybe the coloration was slightly different for each individual, but they all pretty much looked the same. They were all wearing the same thing.
Would you like to describe them as like beautiful or attractive?
Extremely, extremely. They were very, as I like to describe it to somebody outside of the ET community or the paranormal community, I usually say, the elves from Lord of the Rings, like the long blonde-haired elves, they look like that, but different. Like it kind of gave you the uncanny valley effect, and it definitely kind of freaked me out because I was like, these are not human. These guys aren't human, but they look human, and it kind of did freak me out a bit, to be honest.
No, that's fine. Well, it sounds pretty like classical. I mean, it probably blend more towards Nordic, maybe. I think Palladians.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. Again, like we're going through a bit of a different sort of concept here when it comes to example. Because people got different ideas and descriptions to some degree, but dog faces are
exactly.
Sounds weird, but could you describe was there a smell to them at all, or like breath or anything like that, any sort of stuff like that?
No, I couldn't. If anything, kind of looking back on it, I didn't really smell much. It was more just like feeling things, like feeling something cold and hard on my back. I didn't really smell anything. It just smelled normal, like you're breathing air sort of thing. But yeah, I don't really remember if I smelt anything. But I do definitely remember that it was just a strange experience, and I could have been like laying on a table or something, maybe a gurney, I don't know. But all I know is that it felt cold and hard on my back. But yeah, not quite sure about smells, but that's a really good question. That is a really good question, actually. If I ever get abducted again, that's the first thing I'm doing.
Definitely want that smell. Because I'm sure that'll smell.
Yeah.
At least you like to think so.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah.
Grub's asking there, were they blue? I think you said they were white, pasty sort of coloured or grey?
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure because they look like they were wearing black contacts over their actual eyes. But when the more feminine being, and she was on my right-hand side as well, she kind of bent down. I could see what looked like contacts, black contacts, but behind the black contacts, it looked like either very pale blue or potentially like white, maybe a grey colour. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's more going for the skin colour of them.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad.
Yep.
So their skin colour was like very, very white, like paper white sort of thing, but it had like a greyish undertone to it. So you know how with some people they'll have undertones of like either pink or yellow and that sort of thing, like more fleshy sort of tones. That sounds disgusting. Fleshy tones. Oh. But yeah, their undertone was like grey. It was like a bluey grey kind of colour.
Yep, no, that's fair enough. Like, so he's also asking too if did you hear when they were speaking to you? Like, did it come from their mouth or was it like through your head, like through a psychic kind of way?
It looked like she was talking, but it felt like it was in my head. You know, it definitely felt like it was in my head, but I could see that her mouth was moving, but it was definitely very weird. So I could hear what she was saying, but it was definitely like there was something there, like in my head, sort of thing. And it was like, I don't know if she was talking to me telepathically or maybe she was doing both at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough too. Like, obviously, a lot of people when they have these sort of encounters, they are saying like, you know, it's like a voice inside their head, you know, and they're like trying to work out, well, how can you be speaking to me like this? Because your mouth's not moving, but obviously in your case, their mouths are moving, but it's not coming from them directly, which is strange in a sense. Like, why would you have a moving mouth, or is it maybe not to freak you out? Maybe, I'm not sure.
Maybe, and that's what I thought. I kind of got that feeling that they were trying to keep me as calm as humanly possible, but they were allowing me to see these things. That's how it kind of felt. They were allowing me to see these things, but they didn't want to freak me out too much to the point where my brain just breaks. I think us humans actually met extraterrestrials and they were talking to us like through telepathy. Our brains would just fully snap. So they're trying to keep us as calm as possible, I think, being like, hey, yes, we can communicate telepathically, but like, it's okay. We're not going to hurt you.
Telepathically, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a really good question here for, not a question, but a suggestion. James is saying, could the be to translate language? Like, obviously going through your mind there to go and put it into our language for you to understand. Like, did it sort of like, it might be hard to remember, but did it like sort of like match up with the lip sync at all? Or maybe like, or if you were able to remember that at all?
It was a bit off. Like, it did look like lip syncing kind of thing. It did look like a dub, like they were dubbing over, and it did. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. If anything, I was kind of freaking out. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
So I didn't really take too much information in, but I took as much as I possibly could. My brain would allow me.
Yeah. Like, I know it's going to be a hard one too. Like, do you sort of remember like maybe the time frame of when this all happened? Like, if you happened to see a time when you might have been roughly, maybe?
Yeah, it would have been, actually, weirdly enough, when my second encounter happened. That was back in 2018. So I believe it was, I think, after that encounter had happened. So probably about a year after my second encounter had happened. So whether it's related, not sure.
Yeah, anything's possible, to be honest. But like, what about like, what, how long the experience, the encounter might have happened, like how long that time frame went for, like if you had to manage to take sort of time or when you woke up time frame.
It kind of, actually I do. When I woke up, it was 3:08 in the morning. It was 3:08. I remember that because when I looked back down at my partner sleeping and looked back up and everything rearranged itself, I looked at the clock and it was 3:08. But I don't remember what time the dream had actually happened. But when I was in the dream, it did feel like I was in there for probably maybe 15 minutes max.
No, that's fair enough. Look, it's again, it's one of those things like you sort of don't really know what's going to happen or when to expect there, but at least you sort of got to manage to get the details out of it in like time frame of when this sort of encounter occurred. Another question I was going to ask now, which is gone out of my head there because I'm sort of reading half between the comments as well.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Because like you said, you went from your old bedroom room setup, like, which maybe makes me think like they obviously encountered with you before in the past there with how your bedroom was set up in the past.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had any thoughts on like what the concept behind that might have been there with like going from your childhood sort of bedroom setup to then reverting into your current location?
Yeah, so I think what it could have been is it could have definitely been maybe they were trying to give me some sort of connection about like I'm not sure, because I know that when we were living in that old town, it's a small, tiny little country town out in the wheat belt. I remember everybody has some sort of story, whether it be extraterrestrial related or paranormal related. You ask anybody in that town, or even farmers and that sort of thing, and they will have at least one story where they've seen weird lights in the sky. So maybe they were just intrigued by our family's energy, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe it was something it had happened to me when I was a child and I was reliving it, maybe. Maybe they allowed me to relive it. I'm not sure. But that is a very interesting question. Because I have a feeling it could have been potentially on that same night that my brother and my dad believed to be abducted. Maybe it was the same night, and then as soon as I reached a certain age, they allowed me to see that. I'm not sure. So interesting question though.
It's quite reasonable questions too. Like in your own end, they're like trying your own sort of encounter and experiences there. So like by all means, like it could very well been that concept. Grub's asking too again. Like, do they leave any like sort of knowledge or suggestions, anything about the world situations, any warnings or anything, like any sort of messages afterwards, if you remember at all?
No, but I do. They didn't tell me anything about like what was going to happen with the world, or I mean that'd be cool. And if anything, I'd be like, hey, I would be out with the community bell being here, if that did happen. But what I did have another dream afterwards. Now this one did feel more like a dream, and again, it was the same figure that was on my right hand side, the more feminine figure. She had appeared to me and she said, "You need to come home." So that was weird. That's all she said to me. She said, "You need to come home," and then that was it. So, I don't know what that was about. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to add too much in your past or whatnot, but obviously there must have been something that you had back to. Maybe there's some sort of suggestion to go on, like obviously something's happening at home, or something. I don't know, like mission or something like that. Sort of like
maybe to go back to my hometown, go back to the country, maybe.
Or not really.
Oh, well, yeah, we've been back mainly for visits and that sort of thing. But yeah, usually because I've always lived in the country, even in New Zealand, we were living in the country. So I think I am very drawn to nature and that sort of thing quite naturally. So maybe that's what they were telling me was you need to get back into nature. You need to connect again.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, did you feel fulfilled afterwards though? Like after all that sort of stuff, like after a little bit of a.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually did, but it could have definitely been that, but at the same time, it left me with more questions than answers as well, because I was like, what do they mean, come home? Like, what does she mean by that? So I wasn't 100% sure, but maybe that could have been the case, like getting back into nature and that sort of thing, just getting connected and grounded.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hate too. When people sort of get these paranormal or encounters of such, where, you know, they're getting these messages, it's all subliminal. It's like, it's a puzzle piece. Like, you need to work out, like, just give us a straight answer or a straight question or whatever. Just go home, talk to her. Sounds sick or something like. Go and talk to her. She needs good talking to or something. You know, just get no, that's bullshit. Go home.
I know they speak in riddles, don't they? And it's like, how am I meant to figure this out? You're talking to a lower level human being here. How am I meant to figure this out? You just sucked me up into the sky, into your spaceship, and now you're telling me to figure this. What? So true, though.
Frustration, though. Oh, come on, guys. We can do better than this.
I agree. Agree 100%.
Yeah. So I've got Aaron here asking too. Did you ever find any strange marks on your body after the encounter? Like, whether you're saying like it could have been from childhood there, or if it was recently where you were in your current location when you had the experience there. Like, did you happen to look over your body to see if there's any markings or anything strange out of place?
No, I didn't actually look over my body or anything like that. And if there was any sort of weird markings, I would have noticed. But there was nothing of the sort. There was no weird markings or anything like that. When I did actually come home from my partner's house the next day, I ended up talking to my older brother about it, because ever since his experience happened when he was 7, he's been right into, you know, finding out the truth about aliens, about ETs and UFOs and that sort of thing. So I ended up telling him about my dream that I had, and he looked at me and the first thing he said was exactly what you said. It's either Nordic aliens or Pleiadians or Pleiadians.
It's a different way to describe them, to say it.
Yeah, I know. There's so many different ways on how to say it. But yeah, my brother looked at me and he looked quite shocked. And he was like, you've just been visited by either Nordic aliens or Pleiadians. So, don't know which one they are. Maybe they're the same thing, but we just call them different names. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, it was very strange. And then I kind of looked at him because I wasn't into the whole UFO thing quite yet, or even the spiritual stuff quite yet. I was getting a little bit into it, but I didn't know too much at that time. And when I told my brother that, he told me, you know, it's either Nordic aliens or Pleiadians, but I'll show you, like, I will literally show you. So he typed it up on his computer, and sure enough, all this information came up about Nordic aliens and Pleiadians. And then I saw a photo that somebody had photoshopped, or like maybe it was AI created, I'm not sure. But somebody had made it, and I was like, that's what they looked like. They had the long blonde hair, they were wearing white, the high necks, like everything was pretty much identical. Yeah. And I was like, that was it. That was it. So yeah, it's quite weird that my brother said that as well. Like, the first thing that he said to me after I'd shared my experience, that was the first thing he said. So could have been.
Yeah, look, either way, it's quite amazing. And so it makes you wonder too, like, just how much history have you had with these beings, if there has been an interest in particularly you, which has been a bit of family line there. It makes me sort of curious too, is like, just how far has this gone back, but you just can't remember anything. And you maybe get into little sort of little segments here and there.
Yeah, possibly. Definitely possibly. And then the fact that a lot of close family members of mine and even my partner have also had near-death experiences as well, which I know does make you more susceptible to paranormal experiences, but also psychic experiences. So maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe it is a part of my dad's genetics to have this, you know, psychic ability. Not 100% sure, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's fair enough too. Like, with the regards to the, because another question that comes from Grub, he sort of asked the question with the regarding the light that came in the room. There was it sort of like illuminating through the window, or was it like sort of coming from inside the bedroom?
So pretty much, it looked like it was coming through the window at the start. It was like a bright light being shone from the actual spacecraft itself, from the Arrowhead spacecraft, and its nose was slightly tilted down. So it kind of came from like this sort of area where it looked like there was a window, pretty much. And it came from that. And it came into my window, and then it just completely surrounded my vision, completely surrounded me. And then that's when I woke up and the white light had dissipated, but we were still like in a bright white room, pretty much, me and these beings. And it was still very bright white. So maybe that could have been the reason why they were wearing contacts, because it was a very, very bright room. It could have been that. But yeah, definitely it came from the spacecraft and then shone into my room and then enveloped my vision and enveloped, I believe, me as well.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough too. Like, it's sort of, I guess it sounds like pretty characteristic of, well, I guess from what I've heard from people, the light comes into the room and then all of a sudden the room just lights up completely, and
yeah,
excuse me, as very extreme light there, so like near blinding. So
yeah, it was pretty much almost blinding. And that is the only reason why I could explain maybe that's why they were wearing contacts, because it was a very, very bright room.
yeah, someone did say in the comments too there, they said that our light's too bright for them, so they got to wear like the sort of the contacts there to help with that.
Yeah.
If their light's too bright for themselves too, then of course that's going to help in that sort of case too. A bit of sunglasses on while you're...
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to duck on to the other experience here. We had the object sort of zipping around and sort of stuff. Like, I know you said like holding around and zipping around up and down and doing figure of eights and whatnot. Like, what sort of like size or distance span sort of thing? Like, were these sort of interactions? These I've lost myself now. Like the maneuvers. How far were these maneuvers sort of traveling on the sky in the concept of like?
Within milliseconds. And so pretty much when it would do the figure eights in the sky and then go up like this, and then when we tried to film it and then it dissipated and then it reappeared across the horizon about 5 kilometers away, it was within the span of like a second. When it disappeared to the point where it reappeared again, it wasn't even a second, I don't think. It was probably milliseconds. It happened like that, super quick.
Yeah, so what about like the distance though? Like, so when it's zipping, is it like using half the sky when it's zigzagging, or is it like sort of confined its own little area there?
Yeah, it kind of found its own little area that it would kind of like zip, and it was like very, I don't know, very organized chaos, pretty much. So it was in its own little trajectory sort of thing, and it would go up like this, but it's almost in a column. Yeah, it kind of looked like that. And the span in between the zigzags, like in between the little 2 zigzags here, I would probably say it was maybe about 500 meters apart from each other. So not too far, not too close. So yeah, it was about 500 meters apart from each other when it was going up like that. But when it was doing the figure of eight, it almost took up the whole sky when it would do that. Like pretty much half of the horizon. Yeah, half of the horizon, it would start doing this. But it was still at one section of the horizon, but it was a large portion of the horizon that it started doing the figure eights. But when it would zigzag, it was quite short, and very jagged, but it had a trajectory. It had a purpose.
Yeah, it sort of makes me always wonder too. Like when people say they experience these crafts doing these weird maneuvers, they're like, figure of eights, doing zigzagging across the sky and whatnot. it's sort of trying to work out in my own head, like, what the hell is the concept behind doing all these maneuvers? Some people think that like, they're trying to refactor their craft or something like under like some sort of hybrid.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's a pretty weird maneuver.
Maybe UV rays.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Imagine why the hell we want to be zigzagging around and ping ponging against a visible wall, whether or not they get.
Sometimes.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly. Who knows? Maybe that even those crafts are actually the extraterrestrials. Maybe they are the sentient beings. Don't know, but
Anything's possible.
yeah, definitely. Anything's possible at this point. But yeah, no, it was definitely very, very strange, and I do agree. It's very strange how they just do weird maneuvers like that, and maybe it could have something to do with UV rays. Maybe that's how they charge up their crafts and that sort of thing, and their reconnaissance crafts. Maybe they do have to do those maneuvers in order to collect all the UV rays, maybe.
Yeah, look, it's a strong possibility. Look, anything is possible. There's people who still don't know how their crafts work. Obviously, like, people have different sort of concepts and ideas and that sort of nature, but in the end, we really don't know. And like, unless you're part of the dark government, you know, the underground government and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's always makes me wonder too. Like, now, well, I've lost myself now. Oh no, sorry. I was going to say, people have also said, like, you know, they're just trying to get your attention or something like that. And it makes it like, why would attention? Why do they want to own only a certain amount of people?
Yeah, well, maybe that's also what gives them power. Maybe attention gives them power. Kind of like in, like...
The belief system.
I believe... Yeah, like maybe, because I know within folklore, I'm not sure if it was a part of Peter Pan, pretty much. And if you say you don't believe in fairies, the fairies die, pretty much. Yeah. Maybe it's the same sort of concept where if you give them a lot of attention, their energy levels increase. Could be that.
Yeah, I sort of... It makes me wonder on that then. Like, do you think they'll make themselves a little bit more known to the world then, if that was the case?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe too much attention kills them, and they just need just the right amount.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's a bizarre sort of theory, but it could be possible.
It could be. Who knows? Who knows, honestly. But not until the aliens come out and be like, well, this is what's been happening. Then I'll be like, oh, okay. So at the moment, it's all just theories and speculation.
So look, anything's possible, and I'm not against any sort of different theories here and there. Like, obviously, some sound more bizarre than others and such, but you know, like that one really bizarre sort of theory could be the actual truth. To be on it, and it's like, well, haha, you all thought I was crazy.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, don't know, and I completely agree with you. There's so many different interesting theories and that sort of thing. Some are more bizarre than others, but sometimes the really, really bizarre ones could actually be true. Yeah,
no, that's right. So James here saying he's I feel they need us to grow without too much interference, or again the power of consciousness beings. Consciousness brings them here. So look, it's a. I don't know. I sort of feel like it's a hard one because obviously we want them to be out here. Like a lot of people who have had encounters and experiences, they want them to come forward and go, hey, look, this is what we are, this is who we are, and whatnot. And, you know, you haven't been crazy over all these years. They're thinking that you're seeing weird things and, you know, you're questioning your sanity. Want them out here. But obviously there's some sort of bigger role behind here on the concept of why they need to be hidden so much or whatever reasons. You know, there's got to be some... Either way, I hope it's a really good excuse because I was going to be kicking them up the arse going, that's not a good enough reason, mate. We need you out here, like, you know, decades ago. So,
Exactly. No, true. But yeah, I'm not sure, like, why they come here. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be definitely something to do with consciousness. Maybe humans were potentially genetically engineered. And maybe they're just coming in to check on us, almost like a petri dish science experiment. Maybe, you know, because we could have, you know, we could have been. No, you're right. But yeah, no, we could have definitely been like a science experiment or genetically engineered from Neanderthals, maybe, with alien DNA in order to create modern humans. And I think it's quite funny how quickly human civilization has garnered the access to technology, how quickly we've managed to do that out of the thousands and thousands of years that Homo sapiens and also Neanderthals have been alive for, but how quickly we've managed to, take off with modern humans and technology and that sort of thing. So that could be a possibility of aliens genetically modifying Neanderthals or potentially even early Homo sapiens.
Yeah, no, look, there's a lot of things in the history that we don't understand and stuff. And like, I've got my own personal theory that we are some sort of alien ant farm where, for whatever reasons they're observing us or experimenting. People are saying, like, in the comments here, science experiments or genetic engineered. People have also come up with theories. They're like, they're creating hybrids of themselves with us because obviously there's not out there. So they need to sort of hybridize themselves so they can adapt to this sort of environment. There's a lot of different concepts here and theories. And look, I sort of feel like, alien ant farm sort of seems pretty plausible. Being bioengineered to a degree, I think that's quite plausible too. Whether they are actually aliens from another planet or another dimension, or they could have been potentially here originally. They could have been,
they could have been like
for us.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, no, I found that theory just recently, and about aliens actually being here way before humans were, and I found it so fascinating. I was like, that could definitely be a possibility, or maybe with our universe and that sort of thing, it regenerates itself over and over and over again. So maybe these aliens are from different dimensions, and they can see that our universe just repeats itself over and over again. Maybe slightly different every time, but it repeats itself. So maybe that could be an interesting thing to them, because in their universe doesn't repeat.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Let's say, look, because anything is possible. It's really hard to understand and get a grasp of until they actually knock on our front doors to go, hey, we are here, which we're all hoping.
Exactly.
As long as
hopefully.
Well.
Yeah, true. But I think majority of extraterrestrial experiences that people have had, most people have said that they're actually quite kind and quite soft-spoken, and they're not aggressive. It might scare people because, with that whole stereotype about getting probed and all of that. But a lot of people that I have talked to about their own experiences, they usually don't remember all of it. They don't usually, there's bits and pieces that are missing. So I don't think that they're here to harm us. I think there's some races of aliens and that sort of thing that are here to harm us, like the Greys. I think the Greys are very mischievous. But I do think when it comes to other extraterrestrials, I don't really think they're here to hurt us. I think they're more just like curious, if anything.
Yeah. Like you said, there have been some, I think particularly the Pleiadians and the Nordics, I think they're supposed to be the ones that are quite pretty casual, pretty calm and collected, still the ones that pretty easily approached. But Greys, I've heard different stories of those different species of Greys, or not species, different types of Greys. I guess the same species, but different. Sort of like how we have their own different sort of species of humans, like Asians, Indians, and that sort of concept. But they're all the same, but we're different races of that species.
Of that species, exactly. So yeah, definitely could be, because like a lot of people, when they talk about the Greys and that sort of thing, they've said, some of them are green in color, like a green in color. Some of them are completely gray, like dark gray. So definitely could be something like that.
Yeah. My headset might be dying. Hang on, give us a second.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh dear, hang on. I'll have to go back to the old set. Hang on, give us a minute. I'm going to go and fix myself up here and hopefully get this working.
All right, all good. Actually, I might even.
I think good. I don't know. They were charged up. I don't know what's going on here. I know where we go. Hang on, where is it? Oh no, is that the wrong headset?
Oh no.
Sorry guys, I'm going to get back here in a second. That might be the wrong headset there. Hang on. Whoop, there it is. Yeah, that one wants to work. Have I still got you?
Yeah, you still got me.
Yep, no, that's right. You're just breaking up through on my end there. Jeez, bloody technology. I think they're onto us now. They're sort of trying to break us.
So on to us. Oh,
Oh, look, it's been a while since we've had a few hiccups here, but for some reason, something's going on. Oh, hang on, that'll be what? And no, this. Nah, the bloody kids have been in here, man. Like me. Bloody.
oh, cheeky.
Yeah, definitely. There we go. I think it just. Where'd we go? Where'd we go? There it is. All right. Hang on. Good. Oh. I think we're fine. There we go. We're working. I gotcha.
Oh,
Oh, g'day.
good job.
On the old headset. I don't know why they died and started playing up unless they are onto us. I don't know. Either way,
Well, if my if one start playing up, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, they're on to us. They're on to us.
look, that's wonderful. Like I was saying before, like, we've got some elven beings there. We've got other beings that are supposed to be quite, interactive. But one is really, like I was saying, greys have the different species of their own races there that sort of have a, I've got Paul and Cyan there talking to now my mind blank here now. They've got their own greys. I can't think of it now. It'll come to me. The Zetas, which they call themselves. They've got a connection with them, supposedly, so they claim. Whether or not, that's up to everyone else's opinions there. But the information they sort of give out on there, sort of their contact there seems quite reasonable and believable. And it's like, but I'm not here to question them or judge them or anything like that. That's for everyone else to do that one. But I've had a good chat with the people. But then you also got the reptilians there, where I've had people who had experience with reptilians there. They're supposed to be like the, don't go near them sort of ones, don't have interactions, nothing like that. They're quite the evil, malevolent sort of race.
Yeah.
People have had experiences with. But then again, I've also had other encounters there where people have had reptilians there where they've been quite good. So, I don't know, like everyone, or every, intelligent species, I suppose there's good and bads. It's just
exactly. Well, you can't have bad without the good. You can't have good without the bad. So there's always light and dark matter within the universe.
Yeah. No, it's sort of weird where it's all going. Like, why is it? Or also too, like, what's with the hostility? Why is there hostility between the races there when it comes to us? If everyone is trying to do good things, or there's people that want to do the bad, the species that want to do the bad things. It's like, why? What's going on here? And like, how is it intergalactic war between these races saying, hey, no, we want to be the dominant species of this Earth and whatnot? I know people have talked about this Galactic Federation sort of thing. And it's like, well, if there's an existence there, well, then make it more known. Like, bringing out this Galactic Federation that's supposed to be so true, I guess. Hang on, have I died again? I've lost you. Oh no, they are onto me. They are really onto me. What's going on here?
They're to build up that firewall.
There we go. Aha. There we go. No, there we
go.
What is going on?
No, but
No, so it wasn't me. So everyone lost the sound. Okay, good.
Oh geez. Oh.
So it's your side.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, maybe we hit the nail on the head with something here, and now they're trying to be like, no, shut it down. Shut it down.
I think we're on.
Maybe.
Oh, I wasn't just me going crazy.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
No, that's
so, some paranormal stuff happening in their while they're live. We know we're with the government on now going into us here, trying to hack into us. So.
Well, I'll maybe. Well, I'll let you know if the men in black show up to my door.
Oh, definitely. Look, if the Men in Black come knocking on my door and goes like, "Oh, you know something, do you? What do you know?"
Yeah, it's just like, oh, why are you here, huh?
Yeah.
I know what you know.
Well, at least I want to know what you know. I want more know. Sorry, I want to know more what you know.
No more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to the intergalactic treaty, well, that could actually be the reason why the government is potentially trying to create this new world order. Because if we're all unified as the human race, then that would be a lot easier if there was impending invasion from, extraterrestrials, then we would be banded together and stronger than ever as the human race. So that could be the reason why they're trying to create this new world order sort of thing. They want to try and put Earth on the front page pretty much and just show the universe that, hey, we are here and we are capable. So it could be that.
Oh, look, I feel like if the aliens or whoever they are did just come out in the forefront there and say, hey, look, we are here, I think that would pretty much unify every single country going, hey, look, we have some sort of species here that we don't know. Or, I'm pretty sure that would unify. So I'm pretty sure it was the American President Eisenhower, don't quote me on that one, because one of their presidents said, look, the only way we're going to get a unified world is if something invaded us from out there. We're not going to go and unify on our own. And
exactly,
history's proven that. Like, even today, there's always still wars happening over stupid shit or, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm sort of on the same board as that. The only reason we're going to get to unify is unless there's an outer enemy or
an outer threat.
Hostile. Yeah, outer threat. That's the
yes.
The book.
Yes. No, it's very, very, very correct. But maybe that's why they're trying to ease us into it, so it doesn't just all happen like overnight. Like, oh yeah, aliens do exist. They have said that UAPs exist, yes, but maybe they're just trying to slowly ease us into it and just be like, well, yeah, we're trying to unify the world. So, if there is a foreign threat or a extraterrestrial threat, then we can band together. I think maybe that could be the case, but yeah, it's quite strange, all of this, especially with the media now and the government now just coming out with all this information being like, oh, yeah, UAPs exist. Yeah, they always have. It's like, what else are you hiding? You must tell us. You have to tell us. Us as the people must know what's going on. We have to know. You can't just say, oh, UAPs exist and then not elaborate,
Yeah. And yeah, they keep sharing these stupid videos that give no credit to what they're trying to tell us, going, oh yeah, look, this is a potential UAP, it's like all blurry and pixelated or infrared and looks crap and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what about the rest of it? Like, I'm sure there's other footage out there that's probably like, 4K high definition, in 2000 pixelations. So, something that's so highly detailed and can't be discredited. That's the ones that we were on. But they keep jumping back on this national security bullshit because that's their excuses to go and try and hide the truth. And it's like, well, there's something there that's, I'm sure, that doesn't go against your national security. Like, obviously, you're trying to hide your current capabilities, but there's stuff in the past that, where you're well and truly above that technology now. Like, year 2000, cameras were still pretty decent back in those days, and I'm sure someone had a photo there of something reasonably good or detailed, somewhere.
Hang on. There we go.
Just a bit now. It's funny that someone said in the comments there, Pine Gaps, the gap between us now, we've got our Pine Gaps between us, so they're interfering with us. So it's probably true.
Oh no. That's true. I didn't think about that. That's so good. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's like literally directly in between, like, WA and Queensland. Oh my god. Big think.
Yeah, there he is. There's Aaron. Aaron's the ones that said that one. Thanks, Aaron. Love it.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I'm really not. But yeah, no, I'm not sure, because like when it comes to national security and that sort of thing, aren't we the people like important enough to actually know this? Like, you're trying to protect us, I get that, whatever, but we already so many of us already know that this exists. We just want more details, so we're not speculating anymore on, well, hey, whether this was a dream that I had or whether I was actually abducted. We need this information, because so many people out there, they think that they're crazy when they're really not, and they actually had a genuine experience, whether it be paranormal, extraterrestrial, whatever it may be. But they're sitting there stewing in their own thoughts, thinking that they're crazy and that they can't talk to anybody about this. You know, I think it's so important that we need to get word out, because there is something there that we can't explain.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mish is one mentioned in the comments there too, which is a theory I've forgotten about as well. There's like, apparently governments have signed us up for farm us, so they don't want us to know that we've been sold out, which is, you know, quite plausible too. Like, you know, if they're having some sort of agreement with, like, you just go willy-nilly, go whoever you want, you know, pick them up with it, and you give us technology. Which I have heard that sort of theory before. You know, like for trade for technology or whatever, they're going to go and give us basically.
Well, yeah, I have heard that as well, and I also have a friend as well, who also believes that, and I was actually very briefly just kind of talking to her about it, and she was like, "No, it's so weird, because some women throughout the world, where after they have this potential abduction experience, they complain about having abdominal pain, almost like period pain, pretty much, or they suddenly now have all these gynecological issues when there never used to be any after their abduction experiences. So maybe they are farming women, and like human women and human men, for these, you know, to, I don't know, maybe to make these human alien hybrids."
Yeah. That's the people I've sort of spoken to, like, which there have been women who claim, like, if it was some sort of hybridization, they claim that they got families up out there, you know, they've got children that are up there, and, you know, just talk to them. I've had on the podcast before.
Yeah, wow.
They've also the same thing. They've had haven't had miscarries, but they've had, you know, missed pregnancies that are just like, you know, they were pregnant once and then all of a sudden it's just no longer pregnant. And it's like, well, that,
yeah,
you know, there's a bit more of a shock.
No, it doesn't.
You having a miscarriage, you know, or something like that. So doctors couldn't really explain it, and they just go, yeah, no, your body absorbed it. I mean, I was like, pretty sure the body doesn't absorb that sort of tissue. You know, it becomes quite infected if it's going to stick around, and, you know, there's a lot more medical concerns when that sort of stuff happens when you're having a miscarriage or something like, you know. But either way,
100%.
trying to cover up or some shit. It's another go.
I agree. Yeah, another government conspiracy, you know, conspiracy cover up. But no, I have to agree with that. And plus, I myself have actually, in the last probably, I'd say 3 years now, I've also had gynecological issues. So whether it's related to potentially being abducted could possibly be it. But I have heard quite a few stories of women, like mainly from like friends of friends sort of thing. But they've complained that they've never had any issues being able to conceive. And then they've had this experience where they saw a weird light in the sky, and then the next day they had extremely debilitating pain. And now suddenly they've just had either endometriosis or, you know, something else. And there has actually been increasing cases of this. And I know with, you know, endometriosis and that sort of thing, that can happen naturally, 100%. But whether it could be microplastics, maybe, you know, adding hormones into the water, making us sick, could definitely be a factor. But it's actually quite weird that with these alien human hybrid sort of things, it would take a lot of pressure and toll on a woman's body to go through that. So maybe that could be the case. And there has actually been increasing cases of endometriosis, whether it be microplastics or maybe alien human hybrids. Interesting. It's very interesting.
You just
Yeah, you decide pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's like I said, like, you know, it's all different theories and lots of different claims.
Yeah.
Again, like, unfortunately, we don't have enough evidence to go and really sort of make these claims. And people will say, like,
Exactly.
you know, just come out with the open with it and try and, you know, say that this is what's happening. But unfortunately, like, you know, if you can't prove it, it's not really going to go and make any justification.
Yeah.
Encounter or had it been encountered. But obviously, like, when hopefully, like, talking like this, you know, sort of helps bring out more people to go and go, hey, look, I am having these sort of same, sort of like, you know, I'm having miscarriages, or I am having some sort of issues down there, you know, or whatever reasons, you know, something just popped up and I'm having like some sort of weird paranormal sort of thing. Hopefully enough women can be affording it to like try and get evidence based on what's going on, as long as they like don't
100%
a medical issue. Like there's also a lot of things trying to like to line up with it, and it's probably something I should probably look into as well. Like try and get a connection going, you know, a bit of a lead up or a build up into whatever experiences they get up to and whatever comes up in that medical reasons. Like I know it's a bit personal, but you know, if they come forward, but you know, it could actually sort of bring and present more evidence to it, maybe.
Yes, exactly. And it's because I'm not 100% sure, but I know that, as you said before, with women having gynecological issues after they've had, you know, potentially an alien encounter or an abduction, it's very strange because a lot of women have either said that they've had like weird bumps like above their abdomen or near their navel sort of area. They've had weird, you know, cuts or bruises that have just shown up out of nowhere, or they've actually had proper gynecological issues where they're in a lot of pain, and then suddenly they now have all these other issues that come with that. So whether it could be the alien human hybrid thing happening or just miraculous medical mysteries, it definitely could be both. Definitely could be both.
Yep.
But I think it's quite fascinating. And the number of women who have actually had those abduction experiences, I think those women really need to come forward and be like, well, hey, this is what happened to me. Because, weirdly enough, quite a few women have said something about a gynecological problem or weird bruises around their navel area or around their, you know, thighs and that sort of thing, when that, you know, they didn't fall asleep with them the night before sort of thing. And it's quite, I think a lot more women should be a bit more forthcoming about their health struggles, but also their extraterrestrial, because they could be definitely related. And a lot of people, I guess, they're too afraid. I know it's both men and women. I know a lot of men and women are just sometimes a little bit too scared to be open about it because they don't want to be deemed as crazy by society.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically, whoever's an encounter.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that we need to get rid of that stigma that, you know, people who've had paranormal or extraterrestrial experiences, they're not crazy. They've just experienced something that is otherworldly, and that needs to be researched 100%.
Yeah, look, I'm sure there is someone out there probably doing the research, but I think it's just, like I said, like it's going to be hard to sort of try and dive into that because of personal reasons. It's medical, and it's going to be very difficult to sort of try and get that evidence based, unless people
muddy waters,
women. It's very waters, and they see over there, and just that sounds horrible. But anyway, Jane,
honey, I have to deal with it every month. Come on.
I know. I'm being real. Jane says in the comments here, like, a lot of people who get abducted don't want to be abducted, so they do what they want without our permission. And then she's also just mentioned that like there is a lot of stories that they need us because the race cannot reproduce, which is like obviously, which is more the cases where we were saying like hybridization and such. But then there's been times where people have said like that they've agreed to this sort of whether it's experimentation or breeding program of theirs. But then a lot of people haven't as well, and like they're freaking out, scared to the shit house, because like they're sort of having these vivid memories of things happening to them and such. Absolutely scary. And like whether or not they have agreed to it or not is the part that scares the shit out of me the most, is because if they have a particular interest in you, they're going to abduct you wherever, whenever they sort of feel like.
Exactly, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that to me is the scariest part out of a whole lot of them. Like
100%.
this all the time, when they take you away and you're safe in your bed and you're feeling quite safe and content, it's gonna it breaks it. Because obviously
it does.
Your safe zone.
And then also the fact with the societal stigma as well, because if you talk about it, if you have been abducted and then you openly talk about it, a lot of people look at you like, what are you on? Sort of thing. Like, and it's so terrible because majority of us people who have been abducted, we completely understand and we know it was something different. We definitely do. And that it is very, very terrifying because because of the societal aspect, yes, but as you said, they could just do it as they please, anywhere, anytime. You could be in the most safest, secure place in the world and they could just beam you up, Scotty,
Yeah.
So it is quite terrifying. And I know for quite a long time afterwards, even though my family was very open about, my family's always open and very talkative pretty much. So I know that I could talk to them about my experiences and they wouldn't judge me. But I know if I were to go out into the world pretty much like what I'm doing now, there are always going to be those, select few individuals or quite a large majority of people who are going to be like, nah, I don't believe you. And I think you're crazy. And it's so hard because we know that we're not crazy. We know it did happen. But I think what you're doing is actually really, really important. You're getting the word out. You're letting people share their experiences. And I think that's really, really important in this sort of community, in the ET community and the paranormal community.
Yeah, look, I appreciate it. And like, obviously, I'm doing my part here, but I feel like the more important part is people actually coming out themselves there to go and say that they explain their experiences. Look, I'm providing a bit of a platform here for them, not for entertainment reasons. Like, obviously, it can be a little bit entertaining. Like, if some people have some amazing encounters there, like seeing you saw the crafts there doing some weird objects and maneuvers. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty of the actual abductions and that's the part that really needs to be come out.
100%.
That to me is the way the truth really is behind, because like also trying to narrow down what the hell they are doing, what are they doing, or why are they doing it, sort of thing, and why are they doing it without consent of people, or if they are doing it with consent, what's the reasoning behind it? That's basically that's what we pretty much want. We want the truth.
Exactly, the truth and the whole truth. I completely agree, and I think it's very important because a lot of people within this community who have had an experience, they are scared to talk about it. They are. But with what you're doing, you're giving these people a platform in order to talk about it from a non-biased point of view. And I think that is fantastic. Really, really good.
No, I appreciate it. And like in the comments there, I have heard this before too, like, people who are having abductions and experiences and such, like, apparently you can say, look, you don't consent to it, or you can do it in the name of your faith or whatever, and say, look, I don't want this or something, whether if it works or not, it's a totally another thing there, but it's one of those things, if you're in the right mindset to go on and understand what the hell's going on, just try and even start screaming and going, hey, bugger off, leave me alone, whatever, however you want to do it. Is another thing, but like, it's one of those things, like, people want to say, like, you have the consent or you don't have the consent with these beings or something. Like we were saying before, permissions or not permissions, either way, it shouldn't be happening behind closed doors. It should be just straight out openly. and go, hey, look, here's a a volunteer booth. Volunteer booth saying, look, if you want to go and donate some eggs or you want to donate some sperm, whatever, here it is. Go for it, go for your life, and you'll get, $10 or something. I don't know. Up to 10.
Oh yeah, yeah, $10. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. There should be some form of consent there between humans and extraterrestrials, 100%. But potentially, what if we don't have that choice and the government has made that choice for us on behalf of the human race?
Yeah.
So it's not because majority of us, I would say majority of us, who have been abducted would definitely disagree to it. We'd be like, no, we didn't ask for this. We did not ask to be abducted. We did not ask to be looked at and surveyed. We did not ask for that. So whether if we could create some sort of form of consent between extraterrestrials and humans, that would be a lot better, I think, for the human psyche. I think it would be a lot better because, especially for those individuals who have been abducted and tested on, or even surveyed, it is a very terrifying experience, and it does break you a little bit in some way. But that's why I do think it is very important to talk loud and proudly about it. And doesn't matter if people think you're lying or faking about it, because you know your truth. You know it. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you 100% with that.
Yeah. I've got Jane here saying, and it sort of made me laugh after I read it, and I had my own little thoughts. I'll share it with you in a sec. She's gone and said, maybe they don't want you to say no, or maybe they want you to say no. It excites them. But anyway, we'll stay away from the dark, vivid sort of, anyway. A joke.
But yeah, no, that's actually quite funny because, majority of the time they probably wouldn't want us humans to say no because they need us for something. So, yeah, I just want to find out what they need us for. So we can have that choice to consent if we want to.
No, that's right. And there's if it comes to they've got some sort of mutual agreement between both worlds, and things will move on smoothly. And there's civilization survives, and we're still progressing through, living life. So it's
exactly.
It's frustrating. So we want the truth. But before we finish up here, I want to get an idea. A question I usually ask there is what is your personal thoughts on the whole alien UFO sort of concept here? Do you think, what's your personal opinion, if they're extraterrestrials, terrestrial? What's your whole idea behind the whole alien concept, UFO concept?
So I have a bit of a kind of mishmash of theories. I believe one group of aliens were here beforehand, before humans, but I also have another theory that some aliens and even spirits as well are interdimensional beings that can come through. Maybe it's because of our consciousness that they're curious about us, but I do believe that there is some sort of interdimensional connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's probably no further from the truth itself there. Everything is possible, and it does seem like they've got some sort of abilities there to go through between dimensions, being the way they sort of just disappear and disappear or appear somewhere else.
Yeah.
And especially on the side, it's it's one of those weird things, and I'll probably more on the path of that too. Something's going weird. Anyway, look, I think it's for the night.
Something's weird. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, look, it's my pleasure, and thank you again for coming on. It's been fascinating and wonderful talking to you. The experience.
Yeah, you too.
I've been just something of this. I wasn't expecting you actually having your own personal encounter, because when we spoke, we had your own little encounters there, which one was quite amazing in itself. Out of its ordinary, but otherwise, coming up with a possible abduction just absolutely blew it out. So it's oh wow,
well, the reason
possibly.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't really say anything is because I'm still, even to this day, I'm not 100% sure if it was a dream or if it actually did happen, because it seemed very real to me. So not sure. So that's why I didn't really say anything. So I was like, oh, I might just leave that. But then it was brought up. So I was like, oh, it's time. It's time to let the world know about this.
Yeah. Look, I couldn't appreciate it enough. It's absolutely wonderful. And look, like I said, like, you know, you coming forward with your own encounters, I hope it does encourage more people to come forward. As well, you know, women coming forward with their experiences there, and hopefully they're open about it, you know, comfortable speaking about it. Just everyone in general. I want everyone to be comfortable talking about this whole topic, because there's a lot more to the truth behind everything.
Exactly.
So that's what we're hoping to achieve here. So again, thank you very much for your time. It's been absolutely amazing and wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
With them, be sure to come back and talk to me and go, hey, look, I am get a bit more experiences now after talking about this. Because some people have said, like, you know, after coming forward, you know, things have been happening. So
escalating, yeah.
Escalating, basically, yeah. So I hope in a good way, it's going to be escalating in a good way. But we'll see.
Well, yeah, I'll try and document as much as possible. I definitely will.
Yeah. Sounds great. Again, look, thank you very much there, and all the best, eh? I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Enjoy. Cheers.
Thank you. Will do.
And that will do it, folks, for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the show. And don't forget, if you or someone you know has had an encounter, to please get in touch with me to be featured on the podcast. If you're a fan of the show, you can support the podcast by purchasing some awesome merchandise that's available on our online store via the link provided in the episode description. So thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Encounter Down Under. Hooroo!